We are live, straight from the Straight Out the Last studios. We are going to be doing a 212 wrap-up, and most of everybody has now kind of seen the results, maybe seen some good footage of what was in the show, and in all honesty, we could have jumped on you sooner, but we wanted to review back some of the footage and get into the nitty-gritty for you guys. Obviously, I think we can all kind of see who the top six are going into the finals tonight, and I think we're going to break down that first call out, and yeah, we're going to see again what you guys think. I want to, in the comment section, as we're doing live, we're kind of doing this a little bit differently, and we're obviously not at that show, but nonetheless, I've stood in this Mr. Olympia stage with many of these competitors, so I've got a first-hand insight as to what these guys kind of look like in the off-season going into now with this year's show. And let me just say, there's been improvements across the board. So we're going to pull up the first competitor, Oleg from Ukraine. Now, let me tell you something about Oleg. This incredible athlete is probably one of the thickest 212 guys on that stage. Comes in with conditioning, and as you can see from that side chest, there's no hiding the conditioning from the side. So Oleg is from Ukraine. So I want to mention, obviously, the restraints and constraints he's been having over the last couple of years, competing and dieting in Ukraine, and obviously from first-hand experience, as a friend of his, he's told me literally outside his gym, missiles have landed, and he still continued to be on his prep. And as you can see here from the photos, from the front to the back, that guy has brought his conditioning with the other elements that are in his control and out of his control. So Oleg is definitely fighting for that top six, and he's in that top six. Where he lands, I think, is going to be out of him and Asahani. And as you can see from the back here, hamstrings are dialed in, glute tie-ins, lower back. Let's have a look at a couple other shots there. Back double bicep, made incredible improvements going into this year's show. Yeah, so I obviously was looking forward to him pushing into that top three. It doesn't look like it from the call-outs in the pre-judging, but, again, it's all goes down to the night show here. So Asahani is fighting out right now, as I see it, for the fifth and sixth spot. Is going to be out of him and Oleg going into the pre-judging. So Ahamed Asahan, if you can pull up that photo, guys. Ahamed Asahan, one of the thickest guys in the show, somebody I've stood next to, obviously battled many years. Ahamed Asahan. This is not that guy, guys. We got to get this shit together. We're fucking live here. Ahamed Asahan, somebody I've stood next to for the last, number of years, second place. He now has slipped in places over the last couple of years, unfortunately. Again, one of the thickest guys in the show.
Just so you know, you've also got some call-outs going live right now.
Yeah.
You've got somebody, Gaz said, hello from North Wales.
What's up, guys?
You also have Danny who said, Keon for the win, maybe?
There we go. I'd love to hear all of you guys in the comment section, and we'll give you shout-outs as this show keeps on going live. Thank you, Tyus. Asahani, he's one of them guys that has all the muscle in the world and just never has that leg separation. Obviously, listen, we're looking at some filtered photos here. There's what I see in front of me that's going on, and then there's obviously the images that have been put on stage. And, speaking from first-hand experience, standing next to this guy is fucking thick. Front to the side. Look at that hamstring. Fucking hell. Look at that hamstring sweep. Probably one of the stupidest hamstrings in the 212. But again, he just never can dial that intricate muscle detail. It never pulls it out. You can see that the body fat is low. You can see the striations in the glutes. But then when he turns to the back and from the front, the separation isn't there. And it's one of these frustrating things as a fan of the sport to see, a 212 fellow competitor that has pushed me now is slipping in the places where I think he needs to start going for the refinement. There's no more muscle that needs to be played in this guy's game. He needs to start getting into the intricate detail of the muscle bellies and start pulling out that detail. And I've even offered him, guys, for him to come and do a camp underneath my wing here at the Dragon's Lair. But going back to a back shot there, if you can pull that back up there, you can see separation in the hamstring isn't there. Back double bicep from the upper half. Again, it can still be brought out detail. I don't know if this is like a size thing he keeps on pushing, but I think there really needs to be a sit down after this show and a reassessment of how he's doing the approach going into this year's Olympia, because as you guys see, he's got all the thickness in the world. He just has to get that intricate detail. If you can pull up a shot from the front, a front double bicep. Is there any other one from the front, or maybe a lat spread? No,
just a question
that.
On here, they're asking, what should you do to get better separation?
Just training stuff, training, just focusing on. Listen, if I was to dissect it from the foundational route, you know, first thing we're going to look at is keeping his body fat low in the off season, keeping that skin tight, and also just focusing now on certain exercises that are targeted towards the depth. You know, even the pausing going into the show, there should be certain things in the isotension and squeezes on the legs in the pauses to build this deep separation. There's things that I can do and isolate myself just by lifting up my leg right here, like as a soccer kick, that I could literally put a penny in my quad right now because of all the years and years of isotension that I've done going into the show, all which then actually mind to muscle connection then goes into the leg days. So when you're doing leg extension, you can truly change your leg development just by having this button that goes off. Because before, you know, my early days of training legs, it was all about pushing weight. It was all about just throwing something up from A to B. And then as the years go on, and again, as you guys know, you know, the last years of my 212 class, you know, it wasn't about it was about making weight and making the refinement on my frame every single year. So then I had to do all these little things, all the unseen things that, again, I'm willing to pass on and have offered many times. Look at the fucking vascularity in the legs there. But again, this is not a sport of vascularity. It's a sport of conditioning. And it sucks to see Asahani again slip in places when he should be battling out for first with Sean and Keon. All right, next up, we have, who we've got there in that first call-out? We have, it's not the top three yet. Let me get back here. Let me have a look. I know this is live, guys. I've actually got a side screen going on here, and I'm looking at the lads posing live. Angel, Calderon. Angel posted second place last year. Again, one of the thickest guys in the show. I feel like Angel brought a great package. I've seen him better. I think that tonight he's going to make some improvements to dry out. You know, some of these guys come in a little bit 90%. They don't want to. They come in slightly flat prior to going into the night show, then so they can load up a little bit more. But that's a dangerous game to play. For myself and Neil, we'd always come in on the mark, and then we kind of pull back the reins a little bit. But a lot of guys, again, come in flat and then like to fill up as the day goes on. And as this is a one-day show, you have to run the risk. And in most cases, you know, some people overfill. I feel like Angel by tonight will be stepping on stage and having a different look. But again, separation in the hamstrings is there. He's just not hitting the fucking shot. I see this time and time again where the guys have all the conditioning, all the separation, and they just don't hit the shots when the time is needs. And look at this. We're dissecting a photo now that's going to last a lifetime, and he's just not hitting the development that he's worked for in this shot. Back to a bicep conditioning, crisp from the front. Again, front double bicep looks impressive. Look at the size of that chest. That chest is so impressive. So impressive. Fuck me. He needs a bra, right, Tyus? What do you think? It's fucking huge. Again, this guy has so much incredible body parts. If I was to break this guy down, you know, to make him the complete 212 bodybuilder, I would say his upper body doesn't need any much more development and thickness. He needs to put that extra muscle and room in the class into his legs. The thickness needs to come in the form of quad sweeps and you know, his adductors. You know, people will say, oh, what about his calves? No fucking judge looks at calves. Listen, I had some of the best calves on stage. Nobody ever gave me compliments walking off stage. Hey, you won the show in the calves. So unfortunately, that extra muscle needs to go in his quads. I wouldn't put much more muscle on the upper body. Yeah, Angel is now looking like he's in that battle within that top three. But I truly think that this is going to now, the third place is going to be with him and Carth. So, Carth up next. Carth brought a fucking incredible package this year. The best version I've ever seen, conditioning from the front. In fact, this photo right now that I'm looking at doesn't even do him justice. Looking at him from the live, you know, his legs doesn't have that crazy flow to them when you're putting him next to somebody like Keon or Asahan. But again, the separation is what separates this guy in this show. And they've moved him around between Angel and Carth. That's the battle in my eyes. I don't think he will push the top two. I hope I'm wrong going into tonight's finals, but phenomenal package, Carth. You and your coach have done a great job bringing up some body parts going into this year's show. I'd still like to see you pause a little bit better. That is not a great back double bicep shot. Still can be thrown out lats more. I feel like you're struggling to hit that. Maybe it's a nerve impingement, maybe something that needs to be addressed going into next year's show, but certainly a back double bicep that has so much more improvement, and even the display that you're doing right there doesn't really warrant what I know you've got. Same with the legs. I feel like his front leading leg needs to come back a little bit more so his hips stabilize and he can throw the hamstring out from the front and the back, but again, not even hinting the hamstrings as I should do. And I've seen this guy pause live. I'm watching the show as it goes live, and he's battling up, but he's not hitting in this particular shot the hamstring. And again, I seem like this is a common thread with a lot of the 212 in this show, is they're not hitting the poses when it takes, when again it means the fucking most. So going into the top two, this is the battle, guys. This is the battle that everybody is here to see. I feel even going into the show, everybody was talking about Keon and Sean. But before we bring up Sean, the current champ, let's have a look at Keon, a fellow guest of the Straight of the Left podcast. And as you guys know, if you haven't already seen, get on and see this week's episode with both Calderon and Keon. That's a mouthful. But the man himself, look at this. Like, beautiful symmetry. He needs to be drier. I feel like this is kind of the calling card of Keon. Beautiful structure, probably the best structure in the whole show. Yet, it's got that film of water, just a thin film of water that he needs to address before tonight's night show. Because, yeah, man, he's brought it this year. Him and Patrick Tour have brought one hell of a package together. It started in the off-season, and it started with his mindset, too. Look at that fucking shot. And he's not even hitting it. He's going into it. Beautiful. Incredible. Again, that film of water is kind of distracting me. I feel like there needs to be some improvement going into tonight. And I feel, honestly, it's nothing much more than getting some sleep, getting off your feet, and getting in a conducive environment that doesn't stress him out. Because that is something that he's been working on, as he speaks about in this last episode, his mindset going into the show and how he's addressed certain things. So controlling his environment was the theme, and that's what he needs to now do between prejudging and tonight's night show, because it's all there. Again, if we're looking at apples and oranges, Keon has the structure. Keon has what looks like more muscle tissue. And it's crazy to say this when I pop up this guy, because how can you have much more muscle tissue, pound for pound, than the current two-time champ, Sean Clarita? Man, this guy looks like fucking Ronnie Coleman in a 212 body. Let's be honest. Look at this. Striations from the side in that quad shot. Look at that. Incredible. I don't think this is Sean's best version. I think last year was a better version than this, but then I also know how quick and fast Sean improves going into, just in a couple of hours. This guy has brought it yet again with his coach, Matt Johnson. I had the pleasure and privilege of talking to Matt today. And, again, getting Sean back to the room, ready for tonight's night show. I know what Matt does. And he's one of the best coaches, and he does his job well. So this shot, obviously, not this one, another one. You can see the cross striations in his back there. To be honest, guys, I'm very disappointed with the lighting. The lighting is truly not in the athlete's favor. Look at the casting shadows going up on the hamstrings. And I know Sean's in shape. There should be it should be much better lighting. I know this is in the expo stage. Hopefully, the guys under tonight's finals lights will be looked at completely different. But the lighting isn't the best. And as this is a Mr. Olympia, it needs to be addressed for next year's show because these guys damn work hard. So hopefully this will be addressed. And obviously the guys can get their full, their full conditioning scene underneath the final shows tonight. But until what we're looking at and what we're seeing, again, you can see where the lighting are past, below the knees. Unfortunately, there's no light capturing that, but you can see where the light starts. And you can see where the fucking striations are too. So Sean has brought one hell of a package, and we're talking about apples and oranges here. Sean has that muscle maturity. He's got that thickness. He is going to be very hard to beat tonight. But again, it's all about knocking out the champion. And let's see. There's improvements that's going to be done between now and tonight for Keon. The same for Sean. I think this is the most exciting thing about this sport. When you've got somebody who hasn't brought their best going into pre-judges, you damn well know they're going to be working hard for it going into the night show. So this show is still up for grabs. There's two names in my eyes that are on that title, and it's out of Keon and Sean, and everybody else is fighting for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th. So that's it from the 212 wrap-up. Is there anybody in the comment section that we need to address there, Tyus?
We have a bunch, and we're going to do a longer stream later on this afternoon or later tonight, one of the two.
We are?
So please jump on there. There's a bunch of great questions, and we're probably going to make some videos based off of just the questions in here. But for right now, we should probably wrap up and invite everybody to come back to check out the stream later tonight, which is going to be significantly longer. And it's going to be way more jam-packed.
Absolutely. So what we're going to be doing is, guys, we're going to get back on later. 212 finals are about to go down. And as you guys know, that's my baby and always will be. So I'm here to support from afar. And you guys damn well know that this show is anybody's, of the two of them, shall I say, up for the taking tonight. I am not going to give my own predictions. I am going to be a fan and enjoy the suspense just like everybody else. So if you guys want to see what goes down live, we're going to do a little cool things tonight. We'll do something with Instagram, something with the YouTube. So join us back tonight where we go over the 212 finals live and direct on Straight Out There. We are out.